everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. As you can see from the title, today I'm going to be testing out a primer from Makeup Revolution, and it is their Beam Dream Illuminating Face and Body Primer. I'm going to undo it now, I probably should have done that before. There we go. So this is the Revolution Glow Beam Dream Face and Body Illuminating Primer. I got this for free when I bought a couple of other products from Revolution. I bought a foundation and a concealer, and I think because I spent over £12 they just included this for free as well. I got it from Superdrug. So as I got this included, I thought I'll give it a try and let you know my thoughts. So let's have a look and see what it's like. Ooh, is that my eyes or is that pink? That's very pink. Okay. That smells like something I've smelled before, but I couldn't tell you what it was, which isn't helpful. I don't know if it's like coconut or something. It smells really nice though, but I wasn't aware that it was going to have a pink shimmer. I'm not sure how well you can see that. So the way I thought I would do this is to apply my skincare as normal, which I have done. I've cleansed my face and used a toner, and then I've also used my moisturizer as well. I use the Aldi Lacura Moisture Boost. I've applied this all over my face already and it's sunk in. So what I thought I would do is apply the primer to one half of my face and then apply the rest of my makeup as usual to the other side, and just see if there's a difference in how the makeup wears throughout the day and what it looks like with the primer underneath, especially with like the pinky glow that it has. I'm not really sure how it's going to look under my makeup, but let's give it a try. So if you'd like to see my thoughts on this primer, then please keep on watching. So first things first, I'm going to put my hair back. Okay, so the headband is on, so now I'm going to apply the primer. So I'm just going to apply it to one half of my face. I think I'm just going to do this side. So I'm going to do that first, so let's see what it's like. Ooh. That was good. I don't know if maybe I've got a little bit too much on my hands. Like I say, I have already done my skincare, so I've cleansed, toned and moisturised, and I'm just going to apply this to this half. I'm also kind of using my camera as a mirror. I do actually have a little mirror, so maybe I should use that too. That smell is actually quite strong. It's very coconutty. My skin though is looking very pink with this primer. I don't know what my thoughts are, to be honest. I mean, I can definitely see where I have and haven't applied it. I look a little bit like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz if he was pink. I have no idea if this colour is meant to sit on the skin or if I'm really meant to blend it in, but it doesn't really seem to want to budge. I'm not sure how well it's showing up on camera, but this half of my face is very pink. You can see it on my hand as well. I don't know if I've applied too much or if it is just meant to be like this. I know it is an illuminating primer because it does say you can use it on its own or under makeup. I personally would not use this on its own. I just look really pink. I know I keep saying that, but there is literally no other word to describe it. But my first thoughts so far, I'm really not sure what to think. Like, I just look like I've rolled in glitter and pink stuff. And I'd say that's probably about half of my face, and I'm going to show you up close so you can see. I don't know how obvious it is on camera, but in person, in the mirror, it is very obvious the difference in both sides. Maybe if I sit back a bit. You can see that this side is more illuminated than this side, but I wouldn't say it looks like a nice healthy glow. It just looks pink. I don't even really know if that's what it's meant to look like before I apply makeup, or if I'm meant to rub it in a bit more. It feels like a nice base though on the skin. It feels slightly tacky, so that is good for applying my foundation. But in terms of how it looks, it's just really pink and shiny. I don't know if you can see like the difference here in my forehead. I don't know, I'm really unsure with this primer so far. I mean, there's definitely a glow. In terms of it looking nice, I'm not so sure. I'm just going to read a bit from the Revolution website and just see what it says about this primer. It says, radiant skin starts with the base. The Beam Dream Primer is a light pink iridescent that will add an extra glow to the skin. I mean, it's definitely done that. Use alone or as a brightening cream for a radiant looking skin, or use under/mix with your favourite foundation for a dewy finish. We recommend conceal and hydrate. It's also cruelty free and vegan. It's also worth knowing that this costs £6 to buy and you get 18ml of product, which isn't a bad price. So now I'm going to apply the foundation, and I think I'm going to start with this half of my face, purely because I can't be bothered to get up and wash my beauty blender after I've done this half, because I don't want to start on this and then get all the pink primer on it. So I'm going to start with this half first, and they recommend the conceal and hydrate foundation. I actually don't have that one, but I do have their conceal and glow, so I'm going to use that one today just to keep it in line with the Revolution brand. And I'm going to apply this with a damp beauty blender. So I'm going to do the half without the primer first. Underneath here I've just got my regular moisturizer as a primer, and usually that works pretty well and I'm happy with that, but let's see what it's like in comparison. Okay, so that is one half of the foundation applied. As you can see, there's quite a big difference on how it looks either side. Obviously this is the side with the foundation with no primer, and this is the side with no foundation but primer. It just looks very, very pink, and now that I've put on the foundation, it looks like skin and pink glitter. It just looks very strange, but I'm interested to see what it's going to be like once I've applied the foundation to this side. So that is what I'm going to do now, and I'm just going to apply some more of the foundation onto the damp beauty blender, and this is just my preferred way of applying foundation, but of course you can use a brush or whatever suits you. So now I'm going to apply the foundation to the side with the primer. So that is what it looks like with one pump. I am just going to go in with a slight bit more just to even it up as I did with this side. It still looks a little bit pinky, but you can definitely see more of a glow compared to this side, which I guess is what it's meant to do. So let's just apply a little bit more. And I think that is pretty much that side now done as well. So let's have a look up close and see the difference on each side. So this is without the primer and this is with. I'm not really seeing that big a difference, to be honest. Let me just have a look in the mirror and see if it's any different to looking at the camera. I can't honestly tell if there's that much of a difference. The foundation has definitely covered the majority of the pinkiness, which is good. It does say you can wear it on its own. I personally wouldn't wear it on its own. It's way too pink for me. But under the foundation, it does look a lot nicer. Whether or not I can tell a massive difference between each side, honestly, not really. I mean, it doesn't look bad. I was kind of worried, I'm not gonna lie, when I first put it on. I just thought this is very pink. I'm not sure how it's gonna look under foundation, but actually it's blended out very nicely. I'm not really seeing that much of a glow or that much of a difference between each side. So what I'm gonna do is finish the rest of my makeup off camera and then I'll be right back. So I've now finished the rest of my makeup and this is how it looks. To be completely honest, there still isn't much of a difference between each side. I will show you up close so you can have a look at the difference, but I did follow my usual everyday makeup routine, which if you haven't already seen that video, then I will leave a link to that in the description box, which does include highlight. So I have put a little bit of highlight on each side of my face as I usually would, but in terms of the rest of my makeup, it looks pretty much the same on both sides, but I will show you up close. So this is the side with the primer. Obviously I have got some highlight on here, but in comparison to this side without the primer, I don't really notice that much of a difference. There may be like the tiniest little bit of a glow sort of here, but I do have combination oily skin and my skin does get oily in these areas anyway. But I think the best way to test this is to leave this makeup on for the rest of the day. The time is currently 2:48 p.m, but my first impression is that it doesn't really look that different on each side. So I'm just going to wear this makeup for the rest of the day and then I will update you later on to see if there's any differences and also give you my final thoughts as well. Hello again, the time is now 11:32 p.m, so this makeup has been on for almost 9 hours now, and as you can see my skin has become very oily throughout the day, which is completely normal. It would normally be like this anyway. I purposely haven't used any powder or anything throughout the day because I wanted to see how the primer works on its own. I also purposely didn't use any setting spray either, so this is purely just from the primer and the makeup on top. And as you can see, my skin has become oily on both sides. If you've already seen my video where I tested the Revolution foundation, then you will know that at this point it was exactly the same, and it was actually salvageable with some powder, but I'm not going to apply any powder now because I'm testing the primer, not the foundation. But this is what it is looking like after about 9 hours worth of wear. So I will come a bit closer and show you. I'm just going to bring the light down a bit so it's easier to see. So this is the side with the primer and this is the side without. Both sides are very oily. They became oily around the same sort of time throughout the day. There wasn't one before the other. I still don't really see much of a difference, just as when I applied the primer. My skin is still very oily. I wouldn't say that this side is more glowy with the illuminating primer than this side. It just looks very oily, and to be honest, I'm not a fan of this primer and I'm glad I didn't pay any extra for it, and I definitely wouldn't purchase it myself. As I've previously mentioned, my skin type is combination oily, kind of slightly on the oilier side I guess, as you can see. So maybe this primer would work better if you have slightly drier skin to give you a bit more of a glow, but the glow that I've achieved is mainly through oil, not from this primer. It also might work better with a different foundation. I just used it with this one because it's the only Revolution foundation that I own, and I wanted to keep it on brand to see if they worked well together, and to be completely honest, I don't think it did, at least not on my skin type. So overall, I'm not impressed with the primer. If I had to rate this primer out of 10, as much as I hate rating products badly, I do have to be completely honest, and I didn't really like this primer. It didn't do anything for me. It was kind of a waste of time. So I personally would probably rate this maybe a 2 out of 10, and that's purely because one, the price is pretty good. It's £6 for 18ml, which is actually pretty good, and I do like the pink colour, but not with the shimmer and not on its own, and also not under makeup. It just didn't do anything for me, so I will rate this a 2 out of 10, which is a real shame. I didn't really have many expectations for this because I don't normally wear a primer, and this hasn't convinced me to start wearing one either. I may continue to use it just to use up the bottle because I don't like to waste anything, but as you can see, it really didn't do anything for me, so I wouldn't repurchase this and I wouldn't recommend it either. So that brings me to the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in my next video.